Welcome to another episode of Legal Innovation webinar series. This is episode 23, and today we are going to be talking about the Trump factor. We know the recent elections in the US has kind of shocked everyone, and it has shaped America's choice. We'll be talking about what it means in terms of its impact on the war, national security, and international affairs. Welcome everyone, and before we start, we I want to give you an overview of what we are going to be talking about, basically, which has been the most divisive and controversial presidential elections of 2024. And now that Donald Trump has been elected as president, what does it mean for the rest of the world? How will this impact the war? How will it impact the global economy, and how will businesses be impacted? Well, Donald Trump's win has sent shockwaves around the world. His America First trade policy, characterized by increased tariffs, could escalate trade conflicts, lead to fragmented global economy. We don't know. The Trump administration has recently seen significant developments as well in the use of social media for political messages and public relations. We saw the rise in online platforms as key tools during disseminating information during the campaign. And while there were raising concerns over the control of digital data and about surveillance, data privacy, in parallel, there was a surge in the online misinformation campaigns as well, which requires new approaches that we have to address. Well, to talk about these interesting topics and issues, we have with us today, uh, from all the way from US, Mr. Heather Semisim, who is an Esquire and a very dear friend of mine. You have given us this time and to talk about these interesting issues. And I am really looking forward to having you here. And thank you. How are you doing?
I am very well, Tasnova. Thank you so much for hosting me in this beautiful webinar. I've been watching your episodes, and they're very informative, very research detailed, and a colleague, we admired you here, and we're looking forward to get you back, hopefully sometime soon.
Oh, I will be back. I don't know. This Trump factor kind of pushed back, but
Yeah.
on a general note, really, I want to drive in, this about this Trump administration, really, where we can see there's going to be, lots of talks about significant changes and shifts on the U.S. foreign policy and the approach towards national security. Would you like, on the outset, before we delve into each of these, like, what are the main things that the world should be looking out for, and what are the key policies that's going to stand out in this?
Okay. In your introduction, you said something that resonated with me. I respected very much. You said in the Trump era, we don't know. So a major factor, the Trump factor is uncertainty. Trump himself is not trained in international policy. He will rely on the Republican Party nomination, who is a hawk, and they will follow. He will follow whatever their recommendation is. I'm saying this because in the first term he relied on Rex Tillerson, and when he became trying to be moderate, kicked him out and put Pompeo, another known very well hawk in the national policy field. So the uncertainty that the world is facing right now will play a huge factor. Right now, the world is on the defense. They don't know what's going on. Is he going to increase tariffs like he did the last time? Is he going to tax talk like he promised? The future is unknown. But It should not be worrisome to the point that no cooperation with the United States would continue. So he will try multiple things, and it is my hope that his surroundings will advise him the right way and hopefully not scare anybody from coming to the United States.
actually. And during this, we have seen some significant shifts in the administration's engagement concerning the NATO and the Iran nuclear deal. Majority of the experts have been saying that has been one of the key factors of having Trump again for the second term. And I'm not sure how much of that is going to play out. Again, like we all agreed in the first place, everything is a bit uncertain, but we are all hoping for the best. So, what are your views on that?
Yes, thank you very much. Uh, Regarding NATO, Tasnova, you've seen the United States. You studied here. You went on multiple schools. You have an extensive experience. The United States spends a lot of money on establishing its international dominance. When in the first term, Trump said we are spending too much and we're not getting the recognition, we're not getting the impact that we need. That's why he proposed anybody from NATO, if you want the United States to stay in NATO, everybody has to pay their share. He shifted the burden from the taxpayer into the international players. Is that good or bad? That is America first. That is his policy. That is, he's a businessman. He's not a politician. And he's very proud of this. He's not a politician. He's a businessman. He wants to bring money back to the United States. For the Iran deal, Trump is highly influenced by Fox News and the media, Twitter. He follows these things. And he was very upset when Obama made that deal. He tried to put pressure on Iran, and Iran felt that pressure. Iran right now is a major player in the Middle East. They are influencing Iraq, Yemen, Syria, Lebanon. They're supporting the Hamas movement. So when Biden won, that's another fun fact I'm going to mention. When Biden won, the Iranian regime celebrated because right now in the Biden time they were not operating under pressure. Now they're going to operate under pressure. And when the bad guy works under pressure, that's good for the free world. The negative side of Trump is he is going to consider most people outside as not friends. And that's what we are afraid of.
I think the whole world is a bit skeptical and afraid at this time because, like we said, he's not a politician; he's a businessman, and sometimes his choices are questionable, and it's not something usual. And during this campaign, actually, and even after that, we have heard this term a lot: "America first." On many things. And I tried to look into it. What is this America First doctrine? What does it mean in terms of international partnerships? And, for example, how would it have an impact if they, pull back from the Paris Agreement? Would that weaken our the impact on and the global efforts on climate change? Then we have seen some various international aids and diplomatic efforts that could have a negative impact and US influence and cooperation with other countries in addressing these global issues like terrorism, extremism. I understand these are complex issues, but its long-term impacts can be, you know, there for a while, and it could have an impact on, you know, the future and the dream that everybody dreams. America is, the American dream. So, like, I want to know, how will this actually? have an impact on, you know, the international partnerships in the by far and large.
Yes. And let me continue when you mentioned these are complicated issues. Yes, they are. They're very complicated, they're very complex. What we know from the first term, Trump's alliance with Israel will continue, it will prosper, he will support Israel no matter what. The flip side, we don't know about the Ukraine, we don't know about the rest of the wars going on. You mentioned America first. The United States is viewed as the international policeman. They are the peacekeeper. So that comes with expenses. They have to spend for the military, for the deployment, for the aid, for the all the issues that require resources. So the United States is spending this money and they're not getting anything in return. That's why he came up. When he did not coin. He built up on the coined concept of America first. So in trade, the United States have to get as much as it's given. In international role, I'm making a peace with, for example, I'm making a peace with Yemen. In exchange, I need an arms deal with Saudi. So what is it for the United States? In any deal, the United States is going to broker. In any aspect, they're gonna have a role. What is it for the United States? This is looked at as two views. Number one, nationalist views and ultra nationalist views. The Trump supporters are very happy and they are perpetuating the ultra nationalist. Trump is going to he's going to defend us. He's going to make sure that we make money, that he makes sure that we are respected as we should. And that is a bit radical. I don't think he's going to go that way, albeit he might play on it. The moderate one is the nationalist one. The nationalist approach is to tell the world, hey, without the United States, you are going to suffer. They have the military unit. They have the strongest air force and the second strongest air force. So the first strongest air force in the world is the United States Air Force. The second one is the United States Navy. So with all this might, be careful. Do not cross the United States, but maintain the good relationship with the United States. And this is what I'm hoping for. The other part you mentioned about the international policy, international market, and I think you mentioned environment as well. Elon Musk is a huge player in the Trump campaign. So so probably he's going to get a position. There are talks about him becoming the Secretary of Energy. With global warming, we don't know. So he got electric cars. He's with the Trump. We go back to the main concept. We don't know.
Okay, with more of we don't knows, but still we want to know. Um, what about the immigration policy? Are we going to see shifts and changes? Like I remember in his pre-first term, there were various changes on the immigration policy, and you this time being an expert in this area, what do you think? How is the immigration policy, and the millions of people and thousands of people that want to come to the United States as immigrants, and we want to make sure they come legally and they have all the paperwork so they can have that American dream and get the better job and live that life. um, how is that going to have an effect? Are there any restrictions on the number of immigrants or like skilled workers that we're going to take in a year? Because I know USCIS has a fixed number, a quota kind of built in. So are there anything that we don't know about that we want to know?
So the
I like
Republicans now, yeah, the Republicans now are controlling the House and the Senate. So there's a lot of talk about changing the INA, the Immigration and Nationality Act. One of the most negative points that everybody hates about Biden that he messed up on immigration. He kept the borders open. It's an estimated 600 to 1 million illegal immigrants cross into the country. Yes, the United States will welcome immigrants. The United States is a country of immigrants. However, illegals, that is a huge point. Biden failed miserably on that. And we did have a discussion, you and me, you and I, about immigration and USCIS and how they failed in their policies. When we have around 4 million undocumented immigrants, USCIS will be under a lot of pressure.
Yep.
Trump will support legal immigration. He pronounced in one of his interviews that anybody who graduated from a US college should get a green card. It's my sincere hope that he does that. He codifies this and put it into a law. Because anybody who goes into the legal system, the United States legal system, and you are aware of it, they make us study. They make us study hard.
Yes.
And whenever we graduate, a lot of people they have to go back home, whether they are on temporary visas, on marriage visas. They do not take full advantage of this. And the flip side, the United States is losing on the experiences because when I go to court, for example, I speak Arabic. In court, I explain to the judge much better than an attorney who does not speak Arabic if my client is Arabic. I will give them the underlying concept, cultural aspect, and why they are saying what they're saying. So the United States will benefit from students who graduate from US colleges. The quota, the numbers, unlimited numbers for the visas, it is very hopeful that the F1s, the student visa, is going to be increased. Their H1B is not going to be it's not going to be needed anymore because H1B is for experienced, educated, US educated students. If they graduate, they're going to get a green card. So they don't have H1B. They don't have to go through the lottery. If that did not happen, hopefully the 50,000 and an extra 20,000 exempt from the lottery, hopefully that will increase. So we have high hopes for legal immigration. Wait time, we don't know because most of USCIS will remain with the same previous administration, and some people take their time. But legal immigration, we're very optimistic. Illegal immigration, the current law protects people who are seeking asylum, who are escaping persecution, who are tortured in their countries, even if they cross to the country illegally. And the historical immigration to the United States will always welcome immigration. They welcome Chinese, they welcome Japanese, they welcome Irish, Italian, they welcome all type of immigrants from all over the world. Illegal immigration is going to be more difficult right now. However, my prediction it will continue, and it is my opinion that Trump will be more fear for illegal immigrants than Biden and Obama. And I can delve into the details if you want me to.
No, I think I would agree with that fear because I think there is a very important point that about the link between immigration policy and national security. It's like a complex mix, and we have seen many critics argue that these policies could have unintended consequences on the US relationship with other countries, and rightly so. Illegal When we have illegal immigrants and in huge numbers, it's a burden on the taxpayers. um, and it's also, like I said, tackling issues like terrorism, extremism becomes a challenge, and nobody actually kind of wants to be in that situation. And there is a link, and I don't think anybody can deny that. Like, the like you just rightly said, like, the with Biden having, the open borders, having immigrants, it actually increased the number of illegal immigrants, which is not the goal of the United States of America. I don't think it's the goal of any state, to be honest. Every country kind of wants to make sure their borders are, like, preserved, and everybody comes enters legally. Um, that's that that's that's for every country. And because there is a huge population, a huge attraction of people want to come to the United States, because, like I said, the legal way is very complex. uh, you mentioned very nicely that, if you have a college degree, you will get a green card. Why wasn't this there when we were there? But however, a college degree can cost you an arm and a leg. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget the fact that, there are still people who are in student debts. The student loans becomes a huge burden for everybody. And again, coming back, it's having going to have an impact on the economy if you have a, high, you know student debts which are not being repaid back. So there is that cycle that we are actually going to fall into. One is connected with the other. So, not let's just say, the college education, the cost of it, even though a lot of people say if you're a citizen of the United States, it is cheaper. But then again, it's really not. Like, for out of state, for international students, it's really not. You like, I can vouch for that. So something should be done about those areas. Like, why is this cost of education so high in terms of college? Like, not just international students, even, like I said, even the citizens of the United States, they find it expensive, and which is why a majority drop out of after high school. And unless you have an education fund, or unless your parents kept an education fund for you, or you take a student loan, it becomes a challenge for most people. So I guess these policy decisions in the Trump administrations, we kind of have to wait and see, because I think we've been around for so long. We have seen a lot of promises being made before elections. What matters is, like, what are they going to be walking, the talk that they made? Are you going to do what you said you're going to be doing, or was just all, during that head rush of winning the campaign? And I love that you brought up Elon Musk, and how he was all over Twitter during Obama and during Biden's term, and how he would, get blocked and, like, suspended and deleted. He would have another account open just to. And I think Twitter gained a lot of popularity. Nobody knew about Twitter. I mean, it's a fact. I was there, and Twitter gained a lot of popularity because of Trump factor, and the fact that Elon Musk now owns X. I think he named it X. Yeah. So a lot of these things are adding up, and I actually thought, Elon Musk was like a, a futuristic person who always is thinking ahead, and he has been working towards, reducing carbon from the, towards the environment. And he has been, I've seen successful test drives of those auto driving cars, how that's almost ready for the market. And how the new Cybertruck is. My son was like, we want to buy that Cybertruck. I'm like, no, no, you don't want to get that much attention when you're driving that Cybertruck. But it's pretty cool. I think Tesla has its own. market, has his own customers, which are really, they want to call themselves again futuristic. But then again, at the end of the day, I think a lot of it is like status symbol, like Apple phones, which are all the same, but you still want to stand in queue and get the latest one. So, but I think that's the beauty of it. So if we are not going to be, if let's hope that we see a good outcome in this war. I mean, everybody's been waiting for this war to end. For to be honest, it's been going on for way too long, and we were actually hoping that whatever he does, at least he will put a stop to this. And that was, many critics said that has been one of the reasons for Kamala's fall, about the war. So what are your takes? I have my own personal takes why Kamala didn't win. Honestly, I feel like at the end of the day, I don't think America is ready to have a female president. That's my take. I said it.
Okay, okay. I actually and I respectfully disagree with you. The United States is ready to have a female president. The United States was not ready to have Kamala president. Kamala is not a representative of the females in the United States. You've seen our professors, Tasnova. More than half of them are females. They are capable, they are knowledgeable, they are experienced. Kamala was not the right person.
Standing for these elections, that's also another question. What happened to the young, smart individuals of the United States of America? Why were we fighting? Why were our choices so limited between Biden and Trump? Why this choice?
The United
Biden
States,
and Trump, Trump
yeah,
and Kamala.
I
Like,
understand. I understand. The
where are the
United
where?
States is a beautiful country. However, it's not utopia. It's ruled by politicians. It's ruled by people who want to continue and stay in power. We both studied the gerrymandering when they divide counties into manipulation of votes. It's not utopia. That's why the control of the two parties is very strong. You mentioned a lot of excellent points. Let me start in the first point with the immigration, immigrants who are criminals. That reminds me of an incident. I had a talk with a lady I met in DC, and we're having just a friendly conversation. And I told her, "Well, you know what, ma'am, I'm an immigrant," and she's a bit on the older side, and she said, "Oh, that's okay. I will not tell anybody." So, to the most people in the United States, immigrants become synonymous to criminal,
Ill- Illegal.
illegal.
Yeah.
And that's the hate of Trump that he was perpetuating. He was very good with economics. He made a lot of people happy with their money. However, legal immigrants who were in the country suffered some stereotyping. I sincerely hope it will not happen this time. However, most of the illegal immigrants that come in, they shoplift, they commit crimes, they join gangs. They don't have any way to gain legal way. So they go to crimes. The INA tried to give them a path, even if they will not stay here for long, but we'll give them work permits. We'll give them protective status. The second point, the United States educational system, it's not free. It is very expensive because it's free market and it's a capitalist country. The United States is driven by competition. Schools want to bring the best professor, and they will compete between themselves to offer them big money, more money. And we both went through the same experience. Any school will not accept more than what they can secure jobs to upon graduation. So it's a calculated intake based on how much they can secure for jobs. So the United States, it's not just education. It's education plus experience plus a prospect for a future job that is very good, that will be very secured for a very long time. That's domestically. Internationally, the United States degree is very valuable, and we both been in most parts of the world. We know when we say, "Hey, Tasnova graduated from George Mason," that's a huge kudos to her. When she went to, did you continue a PhD or you did not? I no, no PhD.
All I can handle. No,
I
no.
understand. I did not even consider PhD anymore after the LLM. And student loans are a way for the United States to keep generating money. They will contribute, they will help. The government will help the students in hopes to get some return. Biden tried to waive that. The capitalist bloc did not like it. This is communism. This is the first step. However, the system will keep on going. The institutions will keep on going. You mentioned a phrase I really admired and it resonated with me. You said head rush. Is Trump on a head rush? Is Elon Musk on a head rush? It is very possible. That's actually a very accurate expression, a very accurate description. They could be high on their political successes right now. Are they going to follow up? We hope not, but it is possible. It's possible that they will start and they will see the repercussions of their um, blissful thinking is not going to blossom as much as they want it. And again, you mentioned Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a prime example of successful immigrants. He came in on J1, transferred to H1B, and became a citizen. Now he's a major factor in the United States. He was upset about freedom of expression. And I remember, I think it was Pompeo or someone else, when Twitter blocked Trump. They said Ayatollah Khamenei, the leader of Iran, can tweet, but Trump, the leader of the free world, cannot. So Twitter has a lot of problems. And Elon Musk, hopefully, I'm very hopeful for him. I am not very hopeful for Trump internationally, but this is the choice of America. He's a product of democracy, and democracy will get rid of him in the appropriate time. The final point you mentioned is end of the war. Again, Trump is a businessman. War costs money. He's not a fan of spending money unless there's something in it for him. He will try to become a factor in neutralizing all the hostilities. The hostilities will stop. The humanitarian situation in Palestine, Israel is very bad. The Gaza Strip is suffering massive famine. Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, suspended the Supreme Court of Israel. He's trying to obtain new laws to give him to become an ultimate absolute ruler because of what the terrorists did. So both sides are not doing very well. And if the famine continues and if innocent people keep on dying on both sides, that is not good for anybody. Hopefully, he will intervene. Jared Kushner was a major player, his son in law, who is also Jewish. He was a major player in transferring the U.S. embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. So hopefully, we'll have another major part in stopping hostilities. At the end, there's not going to be as much wars as in the time of Biden because Biden was very weak. Biden was asleep. He did not know he was a president. So hopefully the world now will be put on notice. Hey, the United States is back. So watch your back.
This particular election, and we have seen um, the the use of technology all over, and the fact about all these speeches, where everybody was going, what they were saying, thanks to technology and social media, these are all there. Even I hope, uh, when people do go back on their word, these will be there. These will remain. And to remind them of these commitments and promises that they made, during the campaign days. And the increase in the use of social media during elections kind of has its good sides and bad sides. Of course, the reach is much more, it's cheaper, it's easier, you can directly interact with your voters. They can comment, they can share what they like, what they don't like. um, Again, we have always seen America being criticized for its entrance on surveillance and the issue about privacy. Do you think there's going to be any changes? Maybe they will become stricter, like data privacy become, because, like, let's just face it, because globally we're all going through this digital transformation. Like almost every country in the world is going through it, and we know these challenges, because whenever we go through a change, we have to face these new challenges. And a lot of times we have seen in the movies, like, that the CSI knows everything, the FBI knows everything, like, they can just find you from everywhere. So what are your takes on this? Like, where is the digital data and its rising concerns? We have seen Facebook change its name to Meta because it's sitting on god knows how much data it has. And in the recent times, privacy has become a concern because we're all on a smartwatch. We are all, like, everything is tracked. And so with this also, it's very easy to manipulate information. Like, what is misinformation, what is disinformation, which one is fake news. And now with AI, it's becoming more and more challenging. So with Elon Musk have being there, I mean, I'm happy for him, but we do expect some sensible moves coming from that. And because, like I said, our private life is not private anymore. And is this something more alarming? Is this something that every single American citizen should be aware of, or they've just given up hope on, we're being monitored? There's nothing we can do about it, so let's just give up on having privacy. And Alexa, Siri, oh my God, like, I'm having a conversation with you right now about something. I'll open my phone, pop, there are ads coming up of what we just talked about, and it's crazy. And it's just not the United States. Like I said, this has been a global issue. But I want to know if there is anything that in this new Trump era that they're going to be, like, more strengthening it, or they're going to be a bit more relaxed about it, like, or they're just status quo, just the way it was.
Let me start with the first one. When the social media, you said it's your hope that social media will keep the politicians accountable. Tasnova, when we studied the law, we studied the issue either white or black. We need a direct answer. However, in politics, having double faced is an asset. So I don't think the social media will keep them accountable. They will flip, they will change positions. And that considered as a strong point to politicians. As for surveillance, privacy, I am so glad I watched the episode with Paulina, our colleague Paulina. I will not add anything because she's more expert in that field than me. I will speak on two issues: the USA Patriot Act that allows the United States to tap into any phone with sometimes ex parte, which means they don't need the permission of the person. However, they have to justify to a judge, and they can log in into all the information. They can go into the iCloud. They can track the phone. It is very scary. The international bad example we have is the use of Pegasus by the Prince of Dubai against his ex wife in the UK. So I don't think the United States will get to the point of Pegasus. However, they have the legal standing to counter terrorism. Tasnova, you've seen the United States. The freedom here could be unchecked, and a lot of people could do a lot of things. Is it bad to have the USA Patriot Act? Is it right to be monitored? Is it wrong to be monitored? Is it bad to be monitored? Yes. But that leads to a constitutional debate. Where would it stop? Justice Scalia, in one of the opinions, if you're trying to monitor their phones, what will stop you from intervening and monitor people inside their house? What if they're doing something private? Where would it stop? The Patriot Act is unfortunately unchecked, and it could go beyond into invading people's privacy. The United States, and especially the Trump's people, they say they value freedom. They celebrate individual identity. But if Trump says, "Hey, we're going to tap everybody," they're going to say, "Well, if I didn't do anything wrong, I should be good." And that is not the spirit of the United States. And as long as you don't get near their guns, they're good with privacy. They might be a bit nicer about privacy. You mentioned the last point you mentioned is AI. AI is the word of the century. It's going to control a lot of aspects of life. You mentioned Facebook, you mentioned WhatsApp, all is targeted advertisement. We moved from Facebook, regular Facebook, hey, this is a nice photo. Where did you take it? Into Meta World, into virtual realities. So this is going to control the time to come. Hopefully in a good way, but we don't know.
Actually, I think what would be key here is that there is a balancing act between the Patriotic Act and the freedom that we have in terms of protecting our choices, our privacy, uh, which are all interlinked with democracy at a very high level. Uh, so this is actually going to be something, I guess, we have to wait and see. I think rather than just monitoring anything and everything, and it would be uh, it would be very crucial for the policymakers to kind of come to a balance with the two, so that democracy, freedom, and also, like, surveilling, because when there is a crime, we have seen within seconds we can find out what happened, where it happened, like, within the minutes we're there. So those are actually the good things. We want that to happen, but then again, at what cost is something that we kind of have to figure out for ourselves. And like I said, it's not an easy job to balance, freedom and, like, right to privacy, right to freedom. These are both fundamental rights. um, so one is pulling the other. So we're both trying to, it's like the justice, that
Hills
we
of
have
justice. Yeah.
balance. Yeah. So that is how we have to kind of see it. It cannot just tilt more on one side and not on the other. You kind of have to hear and balance out both sides. Freedom of speech, right to privacy, both are equally important to every single citizen of every single country. But I think I have kind of gotten an idea about what's coming, which is uncertain. But one thing is for sure, that I am actually very positive. So we are. It doesn't matter, like, sometimes they go back on their word, or most politicians do really. Uh, but if it overall benefits, you know, everybody. Because let's face it, we cannot, like, even I cannot make everyone happy. And with billions of people in, living in the States and all over the world, Trump alone cannot make everybody happy. But like I said, it would be very important for us to see how, what are the long term impacts, um, and whether, these complex issues, uh, how they are prioritized, like, what are his priorities, because we cannot address everything, we know that. And what are his, if, you know if you were Trump's advisor, what would the three priorities that you would ask him to, focus on in his first 6 months, first year in the White House?
That's a heavy question. That's a heavy question. Let me start from the beginning. The policymakers, hopefully, they will find the balance. The policymakers, Tasnova, the policymakers care about votes. They don't care about what's right. They want to stay in office. So I'm not very hopeful with them. The other thing is, yes, it is beneficial. You mentioned a very good point. When a crime happens, they'll immediately know what happened, how it happened, how did they do it, who's the criminal. And this could lead us to a point. There is a sci-fi movie called Minority Report.
Yeah, I saw
And they,
that.
yes, they predict the crime before it happened. Are we going to get to that? To that point with AI? It is possible, and it's very scary. It is very scary. Priorities of Trump. My personal opinion about Trump's priority is protecting himself. No president of the United States have been sued more than 70 times, impeached twice. A lot of crimes pending against him. So it is my personal opinion that Trump became president to, number one, protect himself. Second, he's an old guy. He's over 70. He is set in his ways. He thinks that his way is the ultimate right way, but he is unable to grasp the idea of international security, global affairs. He will not be able to grasp the issues there and go forward on them. Thank you so much for your hypothetical. If I'm a Trump advisor, first of all, I will never be a Trump advisor. I respectfully decline, even if I'm offered the position. And I think he will focus on, number one, making his people happy by tax breaks, fuel prices. Tasnova, you've seen the regular American. Most of them, they don't really care what's going on in Russia. They care about the price, the gas price. The price is $4. Oh, that's too much. Bad president. The price is 199. Good president. And it is very unfortunate, but we've seen this. So his priorities is will speak to the regular American, to his demographic, to the people who elected him, and try to make them happy.
Love that, Heather. And thank you for sharing these great, insightful perspectives. I think it was very informative. And hearing from you, being at the hub, who has kind of seen this, lived this happen. And I guess it was, did you kind of expect this? Or I don't think anybody actually kind of expected this, but really, what were the choices? Again, I'm back to that.
Expected if Trump wins,
Yeah.
a lot of people expected it because that's Nova. Biden failed on so many issues: the Ukraine, Israel Palestine, the internal issues. He failed on so many things. And even with immigration, he passed a law, an executive order, that will stop giving asylum to people even if they are entitled to it. I had a very sad case from Latin America, And my client was entitled to asylum. Because of his law, she was not granted asylum, which is very sad. He failed on so many things. So, why Trump back again? It's not because Trump spoke to the masses, it's because Biden failed miserably. Kamala did not speak to the people. Kamala's history is very bad. She is not genuine. She did not. Clinton was. She had a much more strong stance than Kamala, and Clinton lost. So, did we see this coming to a high certain point of expectation? Yes, we expected Trump to come back.
You mentioned one thing, like, he needs to protect us. So, again, I was also around thinking, like, what about those charges that were there against him? Are they going to be dropped? Are we going to see the President of the United States walk in court, give testimony? Is this something the world is going to see for the first time? I mean, tell us, we don't want to get a heart attack. We want to be ready for what's coming.
That is not going to happen. I can say this with a huge amount of certainty that will not happen. Trump appointed three justices, Barrett, Kavanaugh, and Gorsuch. Prior to appointing them, he made sure they are original, they follow the school of original meaning of the Constitution. So the president of the United States is, it's not monarchy, he's not a king, he's not a prince, but he is the pride of the United States. He is the pride of the democratic process, of the American democratic process. Albeit it's not direct, yes, but it's he is the president of the United States. He will not be tried while a president, and strongly believe he's going to target the judiciary again and pack the courts again, just in case if something happens. These judges will protect him. He will not make a deal with the judges. He will not make a deal with justices, but he will choose them carefully. If there is a disagreement, they will rule in his side.
Well, that's not the first time we have seen things like that happen. Uh, when every I think every time we have seen when a new government comes into power, they do want to put some of their trustworthy or loyal people around them, and I guess they do it very rightly so. But yes, I guess it has been quite an interesting year of 2024. It was the year of elections, actually. Uh, there were a lot of elections in almost 50 countries that happened. So US was one of the biggest ones that we were kind of, sitting on our edge, waiting to see its results. But I think you have given us a clear picture, which is basically we don't know what's going to happen and uncertain. And I like that approach because uh, that is the fact. Honestly, we can hope for the best. We can hope that things will get better. But when we have a 70-year-old person with several charges as elected as a president, nothing can be said for certain. But what we can do is we be prepared. We are ready to accept whatever is coming, and we also take those measures to protect ourselves, so that it should not matter who's the president is and what policies it makes. We have an honest way of living, and we try to make the best out of that, keeping our families safe. Um, and I think with that, I want to thank you for having this engaging conversation. I really had fun. I I don't know how actually we crossed almost 55 minutes in this. But, I mean, I think we could go on longer, but let's not. And if you have any last few words of wisdom for the international community, really, for the immigrants who are now thinking twice whether they want to go to Trump country?
Thank you so much. I'm going to quote Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg when she said, "Do not make the United States system as a pendulum." So right now, the pendulum is going the right side. And if Trump pushes the pendulum all the way to a far distance, the pendulum will hit back in the same distance and same speed. So my message to immigrants: the United States is a country of immigrants. We'll continue to welcome immigrants as long as those immigrants respect the law and do not commit crimes, of course. The United States, the legal system, and the people of the United States will suffer the bad policies of Trump. I share your point. We are very optimistic. We are hoping for the best. And if something bad happens, we will survive. The life will go on. And as final word, thank you so much, Tasnova. It's always a privilege to me to have a discussion with you, whether it's on a webinar, whether in person or over the phone. And you're a dear colleague, and I wish you the best. You are doing a very good thing, and you're using your education to help everybody.
Thank you, Heather. It was lovely, and your kind words mean a lot. I remember when I was moving back, all of you were like, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna cope up with this? And I know, and I also see, like, we're still in touch, and how you guys like, oh no, you're fine. We were just worried for nothing. So I loved how you, all of us kind of, connected, and the fact that we still remained uh, to be in touch. And it doesn't matter whenever we pick up, like, after 2 years during COVID, when I was in DC, when we met up, it was like, good old times. So, yeah, so I do have plans of visiting, hopefully soon. Uh, will keep you posted. Let me just, you know, absorb the fact that I'll be entering to Trump country again. But I think when I was there, it was Trump country, so I'm kind of used to it. Yeah, yeah, he will for sure. He's not going anywhere. Like, he will not let me come to states without him. Let's
Good,
just put it that way.
good,
Yeah,
good.
because he himself is a proud citizen of the United States of America.
Hmm, hmm.
So actually, he was the one who was telling me, "Did you see the election results?"
Wow.
He was the one who first called me and told me it's out. It's Trump. So are you happy, or are you shocked that he gave me that news? So
Okay, okay, okay. He's always following up the news and the updates.
yeah, he's very updated.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he was the first one to tell me to buy a cyber truck. He's like, "Mom, your new next
It's
car is going to
ugly.
be a cyber truck."
It's
Yeah,
it's
he's like, "It's going to
ugly. I'll talk to him. I'll talk to him. I will let him know.
be, please." Thank you so much, Heather. It was lovely talking to you, and I love the fact that you chose this field uh, to help the immigrants, and that is really, really amazing, because I think when we were doing our LLM, we have seen how a lot of our friends kind of had to leave and not stay on because of these you know policies that were not that favorable at that time. And I guess particularly during COVID, it made it more difficult. But all the love and respect to you. I hope you continue helping the immigrants and bringing more of them legally, so that they can actually have the life they want wherever they want. And with when they have person like you to help them, um, they have nothing to worry about. I think America should be grateful of having you there, to make these to make sure all the immigrants are entering the United States legally. And with that, thank you, everyone. And thanks again, Heather. I know it's Sunday morning, and you still made time for me. So it was an honor. And I wish you all the best,
Yeah,
and I hope to see you soon.
the honor is all mine. Thank you so much, and good luck to you.
Bye.
All right, goodbye.